Let's head to Pittsburgh and let's talk about Diontae Johnson. He is getting a lot of hype right now, and I think for the right reasons. But Matt, I guess for you, what's your read on the Steelers kind of in general? Obviously, we didn't see Big Ben, all of last year basically. A lot of Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph and just atrocious quarterback.
That says it all.
How are you just kind of are you just trying to wipe away last year and kind of plan ahead as if Big Ben's going to be his, at least 80% of what he has been in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're really banking on is we need to see Ben being about 80%, like something around a top 12 level quarterback. So I think you have to bake in the risk, though, that that's not going to happen, and I want to learn from my own mistakes here because I don't think I baked in any risk with a player. We just talked about Curtis Samuel last year. I didn't bake in any. I love Curtis Samuel, but I didn't bake in any risk that Kyle Allen is going to be out there, not Cam Newton 3 weeks into the damn season. And everything is, it's over at that point for everybody except CMC and DJ Moore running 25 slants and dig routes a game. Anyway, so no hard feelings though, Kyle Allen. But anyways, I think you got to bake into some risk there that Juju is a great rebound candidate. Diontae Johnson is one of, if not my favorite breakout candidates at wide receiver this year. James Washington is the guy I continually draft in the late rounds because I think there's a chance he's going to be popping every few weeks too. I think James Conner is a nice value at running back if he can stay healthy. But here's the deal. If 3 weeks into the season, Ben's elbow's not working right, or he's clearly out there, 50% of what he was, like a bottom 5 level, bottom 10 level quarterback, then, all bets are off because then either we're seeing a compromised form of an older quarterback or we're seeing the Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph show again. And we already know how that goes. So, but let's take it from the scenario. Let's be optimistic for a second. And let's say that Ben is going to come back 16 games and it'd be about 80% of what he was, not top 5,000 yards a season type guy, but pretty solid numbers as a passer. Then I think we're really looking great here in Pittsburgh because I don't think that Juju Smith-Schuster is a number one receiver. I don't think he can beat press and man coverage enough to be that type of player. You can't run an offense through that type of guy, but that type of guy can be very productive, like a Jarvis Landry type player, if there's someone on the outside popping off too. And the Steelers have great candidates to do that. And obviously I said Diontae Johnson is my favorite. He finished at the 88th percentile in success rate versus man coverage, 75%, a guy who only fell below the NFL average success rate on 2 routes and reception perception. I mean, this guy's getting open like a stud in his rookie year. He's making big plays, several long touchdowns as well. So I love him as sort of in that Stephon Diggs archetype, not that type of player. I don't know. He might not end up having that ceiling, but I definitely think he can be that coverage dictating outside wide receiver that wins at all levels of the field that you need for a Juju to successfully pop off. I mean, we've already seen that happen when Antonio Brown was there and, being a normal human being for the most part. So there's a lot to unlock for this Pittsburgh offense. Johnson being the one that I really, really like. I'm right there hyping him up with everybody else because I believe in him. But again, we just have to bake in the risk here that if 3 weeks into the season, just like we had in Carolina last year, we've got a compromised quarterback, we're going to have some problems here. And then I see it being a situation where maybe Juju catches 85, 90 passes, maybe crosses 1,000 yards. And the rest of these guys were like, man, Johnson, Washington, these guys are making plays every now and again, but we're really going to have to wait till Pittsburgh finds their quarterback of the future to really see what this offense can do.
Yeah. No, and I think those are great points. And Brian, I guess, if we assume that Diontae Johnson can kind of be that outside guy opposite Juju, maybe a Juju rebirth is in the cards.
Yeah, I think Juju is one of my favorite guys that I'll be targeting as a rebound candidate, even with a Roethlisberger that say he's not 80%, say he's even 60, 70%. The threat of Roethlisberger in the backfield, it just improves their offense. I mean, exponentially over Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. And that opens up the field for everybody, including James Conner, Diontae Johnson, big play James, and Juju to be able to kind of play the kind of the game that he wants, which, Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges, they proved last year. They just couldn't get him the ball in those tight scenarios. And, he needs a guy that could even just fit it in there, even with less arm strength than he previously had. I think just the presence of Roethlisberger will improve everybody's fantasy outlook for this season.
I'd be feeling so much better if they just gotten Jameis Winston.
Yes.
I know, like, he would have been a perfect replacement. I still wonder if they go talk to Cam Newton, especially if Big Ben's rolling back and it's just not there. But
I can't believe they stood pat with those two guys as their backups. Rudolph is just one of those quarterbacks you watch play and it's just not it. He has no internal clock. As soon as pressure's around, the play is dead over. Just will never be the type of quarterback that can last in the NFL. And I mean, he's just one of those guys. You don't need to see you don't need to see a wide sample size for that.
Yep. And some of the stuff they ran at Oklahoma State definitely masked it. Obviously, having James Washington to throw the ball to was very nice. But yeah, these guys that go to the NFL, and it's apparent quickly. And for a team to stand pat with those two guys, I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But Brian, this is a guy. Diontae Johnson was a guy that made strides at the end of the season. So I'm really hopeful that. In terms of volume, he can be a guy that gets a decent amount and 5, 7, 8 targets a game. That would be really